Cheerio, bonjour. So, tomorrow, maybe the next day, I'm going to read Sarah Boone's newest letter to the court. So it's October something. Oh, that donut really... I have new glasses. It really shows up in my glasses. I'm sorry. Maybe I can fix that. No, I can't, but you guys, I'm stupid. Monday is my birthday. Her birthday was yesterday or the day before. It was October 10th. October 10-10-7-7. That's her birthday. I don't know if you watch other channels, so you've heard about her newest letter. I'm shocked by this. What is wrong with this woman? I mean, let me know what you think below. From the very get-go, she had zero empathy. 911. Tell me what happened. My boyfriend's dead. The moment that gorgeous black police officer, I don't know why I said she was black, that gorgeous police officer showed up, Sarah's most concern is getting her Dr. Pepper and a cigarette. What? Your boyfriend of 3.5 years is lying dead on your floor and you're concerned about your Dr. Pepper and your cigarette? Part of the reason she was so parched was because she was hungover. You know, when you drink, your body absorbs all the alcohol, so you wake up in the morning very, very thirsty. If you drink a lot that night, have a big glass of water when you go to bed. It will help. I know. Anyway, it kills me. She's rude in her letters. She's condescending. I guess rude and condescending are almost similar. What is wrong with this woman? So she's on her 7th, court-appointed attorney. She started with an attorney that I only recently learned her ex-husband hired for her. Why? Why would you give her 1 penny? The day that George was found dead, they had a court date just a few weeks away, or he had just hired an attorney to initiate a court date. Here's Oscar. Oscar, say hello. Oh, don't look at that yucky ashtray. Anyway, he had, again, either hired an attorney or they were setting a court date because he was trying to get the child support reduced. You know, legally, she had their little child. What was his name? Oh, Lucas with a K. Okay, if you have to say Lucas with a K, then just name him Lucas. But there's all these Kimberly, Kimberleigh. Ridiculous. Anyway, I apologize. I digress. Brian was getting the child support changed because she really showed up. And they had an awesome custody agreement. For example, Sarah got the boy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday morning she dropped him off at school. Wednesday afternoon, Brian picked him up. And then he kept the child all the way, I think, until Sunday. Whatever. It was perfectly even. I don't know why that's not working right now. But they had a very, very nice setup. However, over the previous 28 days before George was found dead and allegedly murdered, you know, I have to watch myself, Sarah had had custody 3 nights, 3 overnights out of 28 days. So she should have had, she should have had, 14 days. This woman was a drunk alcoholic. I have told you guys this before. And I'm almost now, at this point, after everything she's done, I'm embarrassed to admit this. But we reached out to her, and we offered her assistance with an attorney. What we offered her, the moment she started, had we run out of money, we would have spent enough money that the court would have hired that attorney at, and paid for it. The taxpayers would have paid for it. That's how it works. Betty Broderick spent $450,000 on, what's his name, Jack something. And this was 1989. And then she ran out of money for her second trial. However, the court allowed him to do the second trial, and he didn't get paid court-appointed attorney fees. He got paid his $400,000 because he had proved himself. He had done the work. And so that's what would have... And what did Sarah do? I mean, it was a certified bond. We let her know it was official, notarized, everything. I'll tell you why in a minute. She wrote in big block letters, return to sender. This is a woman who thinks she's smarter than everyone else. Okay, the reason I did it was because when this initially happened, I had genuine empathy for her. I went to college. I have blacked out. Video messed up, and I'm not editing it out. Anyway, oh my goodness. Thank goodness I never did anything. Nothing ever happened to me that I would be ashamed to tell my children or would end up featured on court TV. So I was fortunate, and I genuinely had real empathy for her. And yes, I watched her care more about her Dr. Pepper and her cigarette than George. She didn't care. So that's why I offered to help. But Sarah thinks she's smarter than you and me and, oh my goodness, the cow's not really in the scene. And the cow, I mean, Sarah honestly believes she is smarter than everyone. If you're ever in a situation and you have to talk to the police, hire an attorney. You can find at least a junior attorney for $100 an hour to help you. But if you want a legit one, it's probably going to cost you $250 an hour. You hand them cash, you go in, you're good. What are you doing? On the day George was found, she told the pretty cop, well, I thought I'd give him 5 minutes to squirm. Or maybe 5 minutes just to squirm. She also told the police that the next day, which was the absolute worst interrogation I've ever seen. Okay, long before Jim Can't Swim covered this case, the very first time I watched that interrogation, I sat there and I went, oh my goodness, I could do a better job. I mean, I told my man about it, and of course he doesn't care about true crime. He's only worried that I may murder him someday. Me and Nancy Brophy, right? If you want me to cover Nancy Brophy, let me know. I only got into her just... that sounded really creepy. I only became interested in her case about 2 months ago, and oh my goodness. But she's smarter than all of us. You do not speak to the police ever without an attorney. In her interrogation, she's the whole beginning of before she found out she had videotaped herself destroying this man, murdering him, allegedly murdering him. She talked about what a great day they had. It was one of the best days they've had in months. The weather was beautiful. We sat on the porch. We had some cigarettes. Once she saw that tape, everything changed. George beats me. No tears. She from this too. Oh, well, it's all fake emotion. The videotape starts. She's like, your battery's dying. I would have been sitting there going, oh my goodness, I can't, I can't believe I just did this. What the F? Horrified with myself. But Sarah just notices the battery's dying. Because she's a narcissist. She didn't care about George. You want to know why she was with George? Because she had serious problems. Okay, the worst problems, let's say that's a 10. At 0 out of 10, right? George's problems were probably a 9 or a 9.5. Well, Sarah's problems were only an 8.5. And so she sought out someone that was worse than she was, that would make her feel better about her own life. See, I'm only this much of a drunk. I still have a driver's license. George does not. George has to ride a bike. George worked at apparently Ace Hardware. If you watch that chapter, Mike, he was according to George's Facebook page, he was the greatest employee that Ace Hardware ever had. But then Ace Hardware closed down. But that's what George needed Sarah. His family had made it clear, if you're dating her, I'm called her whore. If you're dating whore, and there's actually no evidence that she slept around, so it's just anyway, then you're not welcome in her home, because the family had seen their fights. Okay, you could be annoyed as hell at your man. When you're at the house, you maintain your best behavior. You put your differences aside. Once you get back in the car, you can go, but when you're at the family house, you behave. Sarah wasn't like that. But I'm going to guess they went to the family's house and drank also. They drank a lot. But George had nothing. If he dated her, which for I have no idea what he was attracted to. And yes, I'm going to be nasty for a minute. She's not a very good looking woman. And this stupid haircut kills me. And it's even worse now. It's all short and carved up in the back. She looks ridiculous. She's put on 50 pounds. You guys, I'm critical about weight. But you know the main reason I'm critical about weight? Because your heart, I guess about right here, pumps all that blood through your body. And if it has that much more body to pump it through, it works harder. I'm going to get political. Our government wants us to be fat because then we'll die early. They're very terrified about overpopulation. But this girl doesn't get it. She thinks she's smarter than everyone else. I'll explain this more when I read the letter. But the JAC, which I'm not recalling what it calls, but that's the state group that decides how much money we will spend on your case. Okay, so you have a court-appointed lawyer, and now, obviously, if you're in a serious trial, you need investigators, you need something else. You need psychiatrists or specialists or whatever. And anytime you need extra money to hire someone, your attorney has to request it. Well, her second attorney, the one that she had, I think, longer than Bankowitz, they hired a psychiatrist and spent $7,500 on her. Okay, so then Bankowitz asked for $15,000 more. And the JAC said, absolutely not. We've already spent $7,500, which is above and beyond. Which means that psychiatrist or guys, I'm like the sofa guy. I have no credentials. I have no idea officially or educationally, professionally what I'm talking about. But that means that whomever she hired, psychologist or psychiatrist, did not find that she was a battered spouse. And so that $7,500, all it did was prove that Sarah is a narcissist, and we have no defense for what happened. So they can't use that one. They have to find somebody else. Which means, and the reason he's asking for $7,500 is because when you need someone to BS for you a little bit, it usually costs a little bit more money. Ask Amber Heard, who had that twit from New York explaining that Johnny Depp was the abuser. When, I think about that. That Elaine Brednikoff, she lives right down the street here. They took Amber Heard's case as the, what's it called? TMZ guy said, for notoriety. Because you just had to look at 4 minutes of Amber Heard's evidence, and it was crystal clear she was lying. Crystal clear. So a professional has already determined she wasn't battered. She wasn't battered. The housing manager or property manager, made a comment that Sarah was very grabby. Her ex-husband claimed that he had scratches on his face when they would fight, and he had to escape. Okay, well, George had no place to escape to. But then here's one other funny thing. Once Sarah changed her tune and started telling the police that George beat her all the time. She said, usually he'd freak out and I would just leave and go to sleep. The very first thing she told the cops was, I fell asleep. Okay, well then that's a habit for you. And so you knew what you were doing. But the best thing is, towards the end, she has no idea she's going to be arrested. And I mean, they knew it. That autopsy ended at 1 o'clock. At 1 o'clock, they knew she was going to be arrested. But she's sitting there waiting on the CSI people to, I think, to scrape her fingernails. And they started the interview with, George had skin under his fingernails. Could we scrape your fingers? She's like, absolutely, yes. More self-snitching. What's that guy? Bruce Rivers, he's a criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's a criminal lawyer. Yeah, I sang. I love him, though. And he looked good with the beard. I'm not really a beard person, but she allowed him to scrape her fingernails after they told her he had skin cells underneath them. How stupid. That's the problem. Sarah's a narcissist. She thinks she's smarter than everyone else. Totally digress here, just like Prince Harry's wife. She's taking no advice. She's making herself look stupid. We had a near catastrophic car chase in New York. So what they do this time, they had a 7-car convoy. And people laughed at them. Nobody showed up. William goes running through Central Park with no security. And thousands of people show up at his appearances. Harry's wife has to hire people to show up. They're both stupid, and they both think they're smarter than everyone else. I honestly want to fly to Florida for her sentencing. If you think I should, let me know. I mean, I'm not joking. I want to. Absolutely. Okay. I want to know your thoughts about this. I mean, how stupid is this girl? How much time do you think she's going to get? The maximum is 25 to life. I believe she will be sentenced to the maximum, without a doubt. Sarah, let me breathe. F you. There's evidence. She told the police, originally, the suitcase is upstairs in the very back of our closet. The CSI saw how filthy our closet was. Okay, so you're explaining to them that you had to go out of your way to get the suitcase out. At 11 o'clock, the next door neighbors hear something very, very heavy go down the stairs and land on the bottom floor. At, I think, 11:11, the next videotape starts where she's yelling at him. 12 minutes later, the next videotape starts. You can see suitcase roll marks on the floor. He's flipped a different way. So she's effing with him. She's messing with him, rolling him around the house. That's how... This chick is psychotic. Psychotic. Okay. I'm half surprised they didn't charge her with first-degree murder. Because for first-degree murder, you only need 1 second premeditation. Okay. If you're still watching right now, I'm humbled. I'm shocked. Thank you. God bless you. Please give me your thoughts below. And oh my goodness, lucky shirt. God bless this America. I love you all. Bye-bye.